It's a skate, it's a puck. No, it's the Hockey Happy Hour here on A2DRadio.com. We are live from the beautiful BMW of Atlantic City Studios here in Mount Ephraim, New Jersey. I am Matt Sudi alongside Rob the Pove Povia, and unfortunately the Darkwing Daly is not here today. He flew away to a vacation spot. We don't know where exactly he's located at this point in time, but we'll find him. We'll bring him back. We'll take care of it.
It'd be my pleasure to go down the sea aisle to get that done, because I could use a little sand between my toes, that earthly feeling, you know.
And drag him back, kicking and screaming. No! I want to stay at sea aisle. Too bad.
You know what'll happen?
What?
Then you'd lose me and you'd be doing the show alone, because I'd be staying down there drinking some Coronas, dipping my feet in the ocean.
Yeah, you're just like, oh, to hell with this. It's the off season anyway. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Hockey Happy Hour. We are live on A2DRadio.com. Like I said, I'm Matt Sassu. That's Proud the Pove Pove. We're live in not in Atlantic City. I wish we were. We are live in Mount Ephraim, New Jersey. And we are brought to you by the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, located at 856-889-3434. Visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. If you need some skills and shape, what better place to go than Scanzano Sports Center? I really don't think there's many other. If you have a lot of skills you need to get done on the diamond, they'll take care of it.
That's right.
So welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We got a lot to talk about today. One in particular is obviously Travis Konency. We're going to talk about him with the possible swirling rumors, because you know it's coming. During training camp, everyone's going to get on Twitter, particularly the trolls that we ran into not all that long ago, that are going to say, oh, he's going to start day one of the regular season. Shut up. First of all, you half-assed backward Neanderthal. Shut up for 2 seconds. Stop hiding behind the keyboard. Grow a set and start thinking like a man for 2 seconds. Think about that. Let those words sink in, because that might suit you very well down the line. Possibly. Might get you a date, too. But anyway.
Yeah, I don't think there's no hope for them.
Yeah, good point.
Because if you have all that time to just go trolling and being like, oh, you misspelled a word, you know what? Go after yourself, man. Get a life, go get a girlfriend, or, go hump a grapefruit. I don't know. Do something with yourself.
Do something. But anyway.
Philly radio doesn't know what we're talking about. Maybe there's a point to why we put out these polls. Maybe there's a point to cause what's called a discussion, agreeing to disagree. That's the platform we are. Ooh.
Or maybe we're just trying to bring you to actually think. Maybe put two thoughts together, possibly. Or are you too busy thinking about your Twitter post and you sit at your computer for 30 minutes trying to come up with something clever so that way you feel good about yourself because you know you're going to bed alone that night at the end of the day?
Well done. Well, I mean, we did ask the people, Travis Konency will be a blank player in the NHL. Great, good, average, irrelevant. You chime in on Facebook, vote on Twitter at A2DRadio_com. And we already had one person chime in, Mike Flaherty, Mike the commish. He's keeping up with both shows today. He goes, he's got to get out of Philly, and then he'll be good. He.
Sure. And you're a Devils fan, so stop. Anyway. All right, moving on.
No hope for you, Mike.
Yeah, no hope for you. No hope. We've tried, but no. All right, so besides Travis Konency and the rumors they'll be swirling most likely around him once training camp starts, whether or not he could start at Game 1 of the regular season or maybe he won't, we'll see about that later. Moving on also, we'll be talking a little bit more about around the league. We'll be talking about the Vegas team again. I know we've been talking about it before, but we're going to go a little in depth because they have just officially started installing their ice. So it is official. We've already known them coming, and now it's just kind of – it's starting to sink in on me a little bit that really we're going to have a Vegas team in the NHL. I just didn't think I'd see the day that Vegas would actually get a hockey team.
Vegas, baby, Vegas.
And we'll talk about
road trip.
And we'll talk about other things. Also, Evander Kane possibly getting himself into some trouble in the Buffalo area. He leaves Winnipeg, and his trouble still follows him. It does not matter. And then, of course, we're going to get into some top fives. We're going to have some fun with this one. Since it is the offseason, we got a little bit of time on our hands. We figured, why not go through some of the greatest Flyers teams of all time? Because there's only been there's been one. They won 2 in a row. There's only been one team that's ever gotten their name etched in the cup in Philadelphia history, and that is, of course, the Broad Street Bullies. But there's been a lot of great teams that have come after the Bullies that we don't talk about as much. We may, but not everybody in Philly. And the reason why is they didn't win the Stanley Cup. They had some great years, but they never got their name on the hardware. Well, we're going to rank them. We're going to give our top 5 greatest Flyers teams that never got the Stanley Cup, that never won it. They either went to the final and lost, or they never even got to the final. We're going to rank them later on tonight. And, of course, as well, WWE talk at the end of the show. We're going to give our top 5 titles that we want brought back because the brands have been split. We see what sides we're on, and now, why don't we bring back some championships? Because it's getting kind of lonely on SmackDown. They only got 2 titles, for God's sakes. All right. Well, let's get into the Flyers with Travis Konecny. Obviously, for those out there who either trolled or have voted on the Twitter poll, what we were meaning, and that's the key word, what we were meaning, context, it does exist, people. Travis Konecny, what do you rate him as? Do you think that he is still a junior player? Do you think he is not mature enough to even be a minor league player? Or do you think he is mature enough to be a minor league player? Or do you think he's at a pro level? Where do you rate this guy? Do you think he's ready for that orange and black sweater? Do you think he needs to stay down in the juniors? Do you think that when he is eligible, there you go, I can use your words too, eligible, that he should be in the AHL instead of the NHL? That's what we were all about here, and that's what the question was all about. So, getting into it, I want to ask you, Rob, do you think that Travis Konecny could be ready for the NHL? Do you think he is ready for the NHL right now with his maturity?
Oh, absolutely. There's no doubt about it that he's ready. He's got the skills. He's got the size. He's gotten the maturation down in the OHL,
which, by the way, stands for the Ontario Hockey League, which is in the Canadian Hockey Leagues, which is the CHL, which is all of the junior hockey leagues combined. They compete for a thing called the Memorial Cup at the end of the year. And P.S., we know what we're talking about, so screw off. Rob, continue.
Nice. Well, I'm bringing up his stats real quick, and you look at this man here, this man that's 19 years of age. That is young. That is young to be NHL ready, but I feel that he's ahead of the game. I feel that this kid can, if you thrust him in the NHL spotlight, can flourish, kind of like how we saw Dylan Larkin on the Detroit Red Wings, Max Domi on the Arizona Coyotes. I'm not comparing him to Sidney Crosby or Alex Ovechkin yet, but they also came into the league before the clocks turned 20. Is that correct, Matty?
Yeah, they definitely did. They came in immediately.
Right, and you look at this kid here. He's got 4 years of professional hockey and 26 goals, 29 goals, 7 goals, but that was only in 29 games played in 2015 and 16 for the Ottawa 67s. He goes on to the Sarnia Sting and puts up 23 goals. He's already averaging a high rate of points. The Flyers are in desperate need of a winger. I feel that he is NHL ready, and I feel that the Flyers desperately need his services on the wing. Will it happen, though? That's the question.
So now that'll be my next question. If he was brought up right now at this point, with his skills, his maturity, his body mass, which people don't take into account, that does count for something because NHL players are bigger than junior hockey players.
Yeah, and he could be a little bigger. He's 5'10" in height, nothing he can do about that at this point, but weighing 176 pounds. It's a little light. He could put on a little muscle.
Yeah, maybe put on a little bit more of that because that's really light for the NHL, and there's some big guys in the NHL that could toss you if you weigh that much. That's like a paper to them. But I wanted to ask you this. Do you think at where he is right now, do you think he could start game 1 for the Flyers? In your honest opinion, you don't have to be the homer right now. Your hockey analyst. Take the Flyers, put it out of the equation. hockey analyst-wise, do you feel as though he's ready to start for a Game 1 for Philadelphia in the regular season?
No.
No.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say that I say you bring him up during the next season. I mean, we're not even in training camp yet. If he really oppresses the Flyers brass and most of all Ron Hextall and shows and proves him, because we all know Hexy is very, maybe even overly patient with this youth, and it will serve as well as it did the Kings when he was assistant GM out there. I just feel that he won't be in Game 1 because of Hextall's philosophy, and because at that point you still want him to give him some time to hit the weight room, put on a little mass, and in the meantime, we saw it with Scott Lawton last year, where he was playing on the third line and not getting as much playing time as he would play for the Phantoms. He'd be in the top 6 and get much more time on ice, and that hurt his progression a little bit. You don't want to do that with a Travis Konecny, who, with all due respect to Lawton, Konechny's a lot more talented than Lawton is, and Lawton's pretty damn good.
Well, I think we can safely say that Konechny is a little bit higher than Lawton, drafted higher, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, and you're right about Scott Lawton. Scott Lawton has had a snake-bitten season. Last year was the perfect example. Poor guy couldn't score anything. And you felt bad because he put such good effort out there. And it's not like he didn't have quality chances. It just didn't work out for him at the end of the day. And that's a lot of just the NHL play. The NHL play is so much more different than junior play. As much as people like to say that there's similarities, there really isn't. You have to understand that these guys are pros. They've been around for a while. But not only that, even the younger guys coming in from the AHL, they've been playing a pro game in the AHL. So they're a little bit more adjusted to this than you are. That all comes into account here. You got to take that in before you could immediately say, oh, he's NHL ready. Like, hold on. You got to take in his body mass. You got to take in his skill set, his maturity level. Is he going to be able to handle the level of NHL play? That's all the things you got to take into account before you throw him out there.
Exactly. I mean, I couldn't say it any better myself, except maybe quoting SNL back in the day. Hold on. What if it's Hurricane Konechny? You know what I mean? But either way, the Flyers need to be smart about this. Do you have a legitimate shot at a playoff spot? In my opinion, they do. Do you have a legitimate shot to have a playoff run? In my opinion, they don't. So, will Konechny add towards those chances? Absolutely. But if Hexy really is committed to keeping him down another year as he progresses, I wouldn't hate the man, but I don't know, you learn a lot playing on that level. But if you play on the NHL stage, on the ice, we've seen what's happened with young players and how they can develop and just become superstars. And let's face facts, Maddie, this is a team that's devoid of superstars, other than Claude Giroux, who I think was awarded the 17th best forward by NHL Network. Like I said, it's a question.
Yeah, it is a very interesting question that we're falling under right now. So now the next question that I gotta ask here.
Yep.
Is if you're Ron Hextall, would you consider making that move? Would you consider, and taking into account that maybe trying to inject new life into the offense? Or, like we were talking about last week with Antoine Vermette being free, would you consider possibly taking him out of the equation, saying, hey, you know what? Maybe we go and find somebody who could inject new life into the offense and just go with that. Where do you stand on that? Do you think that Hextall should just consider just moving him up immediately? Or do you think that your last words pretty much answered that question, that it's pretty much a said and done that no, you don't put Konechny up there unless you absolutely have to?
Say that question one more time, man. My apologies.
Should Hextall consider making this move to inject new life into the offense?
Yes, I do. I think that the Konechny, man, I'm just salivating at the mouth to have Konechny with Giroux and Voracek if not on their number one line, on their number one power play unit with Gostisbehere back there, maybe even like Michael Del Zotto. It would imagine a power play with Del Zotto and Gostisbehere on the points, Konecny, Giroux, and Voracek up front. That's filthy, man.
Yeah, and you know what? That's the beauty of it is this, too, is that, and when speaking of Michael Del Zotto, we'll address him in a couple of seconds. The beauty of that is it's such an attacking special team. You look at it from that angle. You can hit you from different angles. From Giroux hits many angles. You could hit Konecny with an immediate, sharp, precision shot. And then on the point, you got Michael Del Zotto. And you can have Shane Gostisbehere along with it. Either way, though, no matter what way you slice it, that's a deadly power play to think about. You can get hit from all angles. And as a goalie, that's intimidating. There is no way you can prepare for that. If you could get shot at from all angles and they're all capable of scoring, you might as well just admit it. I'm letting something in.
Yeah.
You know? No matter how good my defense is, I'm letting something in.
Oh, there's no doubt about it, man.
But speaking of Michael Del Zotto, one thing I do want to ask, there was an article that was put up recently. It's talking about Michael Del Zotto, what could have been, and how he could have made a difference to the Flyers when they faced off with the Washington Capitals during the postseason. I got to ask, would he really have made any real difference for the Flyers? And here's my reasoning, because I personally think he wouldn't have. And here's my reasoning for it. Think about the team we were facing. Thinking about the President's Trophy winning Washington Capitals. Now, I'll admit, Washington was a little underwhelming in this series. They didn't beat us as badly as I thought they were going to. The Flyers actually gave them a headache and forced 6 games. There's a lot to be given to the Flyers for that, but how much does that fall into the Capitals not being strong enough to get the job done when it's most needed? But I personally still think the result would have been the same. We still would have been out in the first round. Not much would have changed. We wouldn't have had any real big almighty savior moments here. And not that Michael Del Zotto can't be a clutch player, because he can be. He had been in the past during the regular season. But I honestly don't think it would have been, because Braden Holtby was standing on his head at the end of the day in that series.
Right.
I just personally don't think it would have made much of a difference.
You know, I think it would have, and I don't see how you would say. I mean, would it meant that Flyers beat the Capitals? Maybe. I'll say maybe. I'll say because we have hindsight's 20/20, and we could see how the Capitals' weaknesses were exposed again in another playoff run. But just adding another qualified defenseman, I would have much rathered having him over, say, a Brandon Manning.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
For defensive skills, for his offensive skills. I know the Flyers' power play was absolutely putrid in that series.
Yeah, it was terrible.
So is Del Zotto the savior there? Maybe not, but they would have been better on the power play, which would have made for a different ending, so to speak. So what I'm saying is, and maybe I'm playing devil's advocate here just to take the other side, but I think it would have made a difference. And there was a lot of talk that you force a Game 7, all bets are off, you know?
I mean, well, that's in Game 7s in general, that's always how they have been. You know, it's just like, once you force a Game 7, anybody can win at any time. It becomes anybody's series. Whether it was a 3-1 deficit, a 3-0 deficit, or whether it was a 3-2 deficit, it doesn't matter. No matter what deficit that team was at, they push a Game 7, anything and everything will happen in that Game 7. Goalies will get nervous. Players will try and overthink their move. They will overthink their shot. They'll squeeze the stick a little tighter. Because you want to know why? Because it's Game 7. It's go big, go home. Either you win or you lose. And if you lose, you're out. You don't get a second chance.
Yeah.
But
it would have helped limit Ovechkin's production, who had 12 points in that series. Oshie's production with 6 goals. But in the end, Brandon Holtby, that was the man to beat.
I just just my personal opinion, I think that, I think the Flyers still would have wound up losing. I still even think in the same series length, because Steve Mason was not that good in that series, and we really saw him struggle. He tried, and he did as hard as he could, but he started to lose it in that series. He started to break down, and then we had to go with Neuwirth. Neuwirth did get us a Game 6, but at the end of the day, there's only so much you can do as a goalie. You can't score goals as a goalie, and that's just the nature of the beast. Sometimes you face a team that's just a little bit better than you are. And I'm not saying the Flyers wouldn't have had a better shot with Michael Del Zotto. They probably would have, but I just still think the team we faced was just a little too here. We weren't at their level at that point. So we will be. This team keeps building. We will be. I think we definitely will be soon enough.
No doubt about it, brother.
But that is it for the Flyers talk for now. When we come back, we will go into Around the League, and we will discuss Las Vegas, and we will talk about the 2017 Winter Classic, Alexander Ovechkin possibly missing the World Championship, the World Cup, and Evander Kane, and some extracurricular stuff that got him into possibly a lot of trouble right now. All of that on the other side.
Feel so bad for you.
Yeah. We all know how much of a joyous person Evander Kane is. Rob, what is he?
He's a scumbag.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, when we come back, Around the League time. But first I want to talk to you about Liberty Event Rentals. They're located at 2154 East Cambria Street in Philadelphia, PA. They have a website at www.libertyeventrentals.com. They're for all your party needs. They got tables, chairs, linens, and they set all up, and they'll take it all back down. You got to throw away your own garbage, though, by the way. But they are Liberty Event Rentals, and you can give them a call at 267-314-7368 for all your party needs. Give them a call. When we come back, folks, it's time for us to dive right on in to Around the League. Don't go anywhere. This is the Hockey Happy Hour on A2DRadio.com.
Hey, do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by The Sports Outlet, located at 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey, with over 40 years of customer experience giving the latest in uniforms and equipment to sports enthusiasts of baseball, softball, football, basketball, hockey, soccer, and much more. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or send them an email at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit their website at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all of your sporting needs.
Hey, do you consider yourself the next Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, or Jordan Spieth? Well, head on out on November 5th at Valley Brook Country Club in Blackwood, New Jersey for A2DRadio.com's first ever Real Talk Invitational. 125 per person to enter, teams up to 4 members, and it includes all you can eat and drink, and contests including longest drive, putting competition, closest to the pin, and the hole-in-one contest. Once again, it's November 5th at Valley Brook Country Club in Blackwood, New Jersey. The guys here at HUDRadio.com hope to see you there.
Hey, yo. Have you ever wanted the ultimate driving experience? Well then, you want to go to BMW of Atlantic City. They must sell 100 vehicles, which means you save. Right now, lease a certified pre-owned elite 2016 BMW 320i with xDrive, just $299 a month for 36 months. The ultimate driving experience is closer than you think. BMW of Atlantic City. Easy to get 2 minutes off of exit 37 of the Parkway. They are online at www.bmwatlanticcity.com. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Hockey Happy Hour. We are live from Mount Ephraim, New Jersey in the BMW of Atlantic City studios, and we are on A2DRadio.com. I am Matt Tsutsuti. Right over there is Rob the Pove Povia. And we
Who's
just
not
talked
over 7 foot tall.
but you can't teach that. Anyway.
I'm 7 inches wide, though. You do the math.
You can't teach that neither.
No.
Anyway, so with that being said, it's time we go into Around the League. And we're going to go out to Las Vegas, to Sin City in the desert. Because you see, we have the Las Vegas NHL franchise that has officially put in their ice. They're getting that installation in there. And I got to ask, Rob, you wondering how this team's going to do at the end of the day? Like maybe this team might pull off some stuff. Do you think this team might be good during its first season, successful at all?
It's kind of hard to imagine that they would be. I mean, all expansion teams have growing pains. I mean, any Flyers fan old enough to know when we were an expansion team, there was definitely a long transitional period because you're basically getting scraps in the expansion draft. That being said, those scraps this year for that expansion draft, kind of meaty. I mean, first of all, I think Marc-Andre Fleury will be on this Las Vegas team. I don't think there's a question in my mind about that. There's a lot of also like some big-name talent out there that I could see being pulled over so I think for an expansion team they'll be successful, and they certainly have the money banking to do so, but in the end, Matt, compared to the other teams, they're going to be competing from anywhere from 28 to the bottom of the league.
So you're thinking that they won't be that successful in the first season. What do you think?
That would have been a more succinct way to say it, absolutely.
I gotcha. So what do you think about, like, do you think that they will appeal? Do you think that they'll be, like, at least revenue success? Do you think interest will be there for this team? Or do you think that, too, will be a bit of a bottom-feeding situation in the NHL?
No, I think they'll make a lot of money. I think they'll make a lot of money for a couple reasons. One, the novelty. Just a new team attracts. We've seen that in many different leagues. I mean, we saw that when Colorado and San Jose came into the NHL. When the Jets reformed again, that house was packed because there's passionate fans in Winnipeg. Can you say there's passionate fans in Las Vegas? No, I'm not about to front that, right? But what you do have is a lot of tourists that are coming to Vegas with a lot of money in hand, right? You can't just be in the casino 24/7. I can, but not a lot of people can, right?
Not everyone can handle it.
Right, exactly. Me and the guy behind the guy who will remain anonymous right now. He knows who I'm talking about. We can rock out a poker table like nobody's business. But you need to find certain things to do. You bring the family out. right? Yeah, there's shows. You go to MGM. You see Matt Franco from America's Got Talent, his magic show or some bullshit like that, right? Oh, there's a hockey team in you go see the Las Vegas 51s, a minor league team. Well, this is a professional team. This is involved in the NHL. So, I think it will do well revenue wise.
Okay, then. So now the funny question that I gotta say is, they obviously can't use the name they wanted to go with, and people didn't really know why, and I didn't know why until, and it probably should have hit me a little really fast on that one. Apparently, the reason why they can't use the name Knights is because not that America's got a problem with it. Canada's got a problem with it. See, apparently, for those who were talking about the OHL, like we were earlier, the Ontario Hockey League, by the way, the London Knights of the Ontario Hockey League apparently own the name the Knights in Canada. So that's the reason why this Las Vegas team cannot be called the Knights. Because apparently in Canada, Knights is a trademarkable name, even though what it really is a warrior from back in the medieval times. But, apparently that's trademarkable. Who knew? Who knew that you could trademark an historical warrior figure in history and, for your sports team? Now it can't be used by anybody else in Canada, apparently. I give London credit. At least they assured up that there'd be no other Knights rolling around there. Give them credit on that one.
Yep.
But I just wanted to say that that's just kind of funny. So with that being said, with them kind of getting off to a shaky start with, I personally, I think the novelty, you do have a point there, Rob, with them appealing to an audience. I think the novelty will be there for the first season. Now, as for seasons after that, I think that novelty will wear off after a little while. And I think the major reason why is because it depends on if an expansion team is going to be successful. What really matters is your first few years, your first like five years, I'd say, give or take. In the first 5 years, an expansion team's really got to hit hard and has really got to hit fast and has really got to make an impact in the community. And we've seen teams not be successful at this. The Coyotes are the perfect prime example of a team that is not successful in the long run. They can barely afford to even keep the lights on. They don't really have a fan base. It's basically not it wasn't a good franchise even back in the day when they had Roenick and Tocchet. They still couldn't really get that many people into hockey out in Arizona. It just wasn't an appealing sport to them at the end of the day. The same thing happened in Oakland way back in the day with the Seals. The Seals weren't appealing. They weren't good unless they made the playoffs. And when they made the playoffs, people did have some interest, but they got off to such a shaky start, they never really recovered from their bankruptcy problems.
Right.
They never got a new arena built for them. There were so many issues that they ran into that they ultimately collapsed. And a perfect example is the hometown Flyers. They came into the league. Hockey was not known in Philadelphia. It was a foreign sport for the most part in Philadelphia. Yet, the Flyers came in, and in their first season, they started to make some noise. They had a good draft in the expansion draft. They beat original 6 teams, and they started to appeal. Now, I'm not saying that they were a massive success. That came with getting the bullies in there.
Right.
But they did start to get a following and get a small underground fan base in their first few years. And that's the key part. Your first few years, you have to make an impact in the community.
Oh, you have to, man. You need to make your imprint. And thanks to Mr. Snyder, that's what was done in Philadelphia, really being a grassroots organization, really coming from the common man. As much as he built up wealth, every person could relate with him, and everybody could relate with his team.
Yeah, so it should be interesting to see what happens with the Las Vegas team, who are not going to be the Knights. The Las Vegas Not Knights may be a good idea for them to call themselves that.
I like it.
But next up, the 2017 Winter Classic has officially been awarded, and it is going to St. Louis. That is right. The St. Louis Blues are taking on the Chicago Blackhawks, their most hated rival, in this year's Winter Classic. Are you excited? Because I'm excited. I actually am really looking forward to that Winter Classic because that sounds awesome. The Blues and the Blackhawks tearing each other to pieces in the Winter Classic.
You know what? Yeah, the black and blue rivalry is one of the more storied rivalries in hockey. I would compare it to Yankees, Red Sox, and baseball. Maybe Knicks, Lakers back in the day, or currently now, maybe Oklahoma City versus Golden State Warriors. But personally, am I excited? No. Why would I want to watch a bunch of scumbags hit each other? I hate the Blackhawks and I hate the Blues. They can go F themselves.
See, that's funny because I actually don't hate the Blues. I hate the Blackhawks. I don't hate the Blues.
Are they wearing a Flyer sweater?
No.
Then
no.
I hate them.
I got you. Yeah.
That's just how I operate.
Yeah.
You have a lot. You have a lot more integrity than I do when it comes to hockey fandom.
You got a scumbag scale. You got to, you got your standards that you got to appeal to. I get it. I totally get it, man. The scumbag standards are very, very important. It is seriously taken around the parts of the hockey world and the hockey rink. But nonetheless, Winter Classic going to happen between the Blues and the Blackhawks in 2017. That should be a fun matchup between those two very storied organizations with a storied rivalry. One that has cups, another one that doesn't. Should even add a little bit more of an element to it. But, Rob, I do believe the Heritage Classic has also been officially awarded. I think it was awarded a little bit back, but it has been officially announced.
Yeah, well, what was announced was one of the teams unveiling their beautiful New Jersey. But, yeah, October 23rd, the 2016 Heritage Classic will go down with the Winnipeg Jets hosting the Edmonton Oilers. Canada's version of the Winter Classic. And there's a lot of their stadium series, a lot of outdoor games, and I love the outdoor games. Definitely, a lot of people think they're watered down because there are so many. I just love them. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a sports freak like that. But, yeah, as I said, the Jets unveiled their beautiful jersey on August 5th. And, like we were talking before the show, there's definitely a similarity between the Oilers, or the way the Oilers went. There's a differentiation between where the Oilers went and where the Jets went.
I actually have an idea. People talk about watering down a stadium series. I have a great idea for stadium series. And this could be kind of like a semi-all-star thing. Since the all-star game's changing and it's more of this tournament format to make it more exciting and fun and have them something to play for, how about in the Winter Classic you do the same thing? You book it around the same time period as you're doing the NHL All-Star Game. And here's the reason why. You put the best Canadian players and the best American players, Team North America versus the world players in the NHL, and they battle each other in a stadium, and they see who wins. And they have a little something to compete for. Pride. Who's better at hockey, North America or the world? My money's on North America, but anyway.
I don't like it.
Really? You don't like the idea of having the two major players facing off with each other, representing their continent?
I don't like it at all.
Really?
I love it, man. That's a beautiful idea, man. I think that's exactly the way it should be. I just Simon Cowelled you. Boom.
Mind blown. Anyway, speaking of whose mind is probably shot right now, Alexander Ovechkin. Not only has the poor guy still gone without a cup this year, his cup thirst has not been quenched yet. He now finds himself possibly missing the World Cup of Hockey. That is right. Alexander Ovechkin got hurt while training, although he denies that he got an injury. The Russian news source known as TASS has reported that he suffered muscle damage, which apparently occurs often when you are training, and that could sideline him for a little bit. And even a lot of officials were trying to say that it could be a sideline permanently. But it shouldn't hinder him for the regular season for the Washington Capitals. So Capitals fans could breathe a nice sigh of relief. It shouldn't affect him for training camp and for the NHL season. It may affect him, though, for the World Cup. So Russia may take a big, big hit with Alexander Ovechkin possibly being out for the World Championship.
Yeah, and it will take a big hit. I mean, there's no doubt about it. But in the end, what's bad for them is good for both USA, Canada, and Team North America with all those youngsters. I'm gonna love watching Team North America play. That's who I'm really excited to see play. You're taking the best of USA and the best of Canada under the age of 25. I don't know if any other team has a chance to be, in my opinion. A lot of people be like, "You're crazy. Canada's the favorite." The of age, so to speak.
Okay,
right?
gotcha.
And they are deep. They are deep, but there's so much talent in this league. under that age.
I'll mark it now. Canada doesn't win. I'll make a bold prediction now. Canada doesn't win the World Cup. If I can get my words out properly. Canada doesn't win the World Cup. And I say that now because you know what? I think, maybe not Team North America, but I think it's going to be a team we least expect is going to pull off an upset and actually win this whole dang thing.
Yeah.
I think they might actually be able to do it. Maybe it's Team North America. Maybe it's Team World, or Team Europe. Maybe it's the Czech Republic. Maybe it's Russia. Maybe it's the United States of America, baby. Maybe the USA comes and shoves it right up Canada's ass, and we take the World Cup from them.
Wouldn't that be a great year? And, I mean, we're touching upon the World Cup, but I know as the summer concludes, we could really get into that before I'm really salivating at the mouth to do so. But just skimming over it right now, we have the Rio Olympics going on right now where, U.S., top of the medal board, certainly always one of the strengths. You have the basketball team. Imagine a couple that, along with a Team USA winning the World Cup, what a 2016 it could be for the good old US of A.
And if an American team again won the Stanley Cup, it's just like, that's it. America's the kings. Forget about it, Canada. You have been dethroned officially. We're number one. Suck it.
Suck it, and that's something we can, no matter if you're a fan of the Devils, the Rangers, the Islanders, you're a fraud Colorado Avalanche fan living in Jersey, whatever that looks like, that's something we could all bond together. We're all Americans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're American, baby, and we want America to be the best in hockey, even though we didn't invent it.
Yeah, sing Kumbaya and some shit like that.
Yeah, of course. That's what we do every 4 years when the Olympics rolls around. We can't do it during the World Cup because we know America won't win it. But anyway, the World Cup of soccer, not the World Cup of hockey. But anyway, moving on.
You.
All right, so we'll take a quick break from the World Cup, not a quick break from this segment, and we will go into Evander Kane. And, Evander Kane, there's so many words to describe him. Scumbag is one of the words we've used, but there's just so many more colorful terms to describe him. But it gets thrown off the air, so we can't say them. But we could possibly add woman beater to it. And that's not something to laugh about, folks, because apparently a Buffalo woman by the name of Rachel, hopefully I'm saying this right, Kuchley, or maybe Kuchley, not sure exactly how you pronounce it.
A woman named Ashton Kutcher? Yeah, she is a woman. Just like Caitlyn Jenner. All right, go on.
But anyway, apparently she is suing Evander Kane for possibly having beaten her in a hotel room, which has required her to get multiple surgeries and has left her with personal injuries. And I'll tell you right now, folks, at 21 years old, Evander Kane has proven beyond a shadow of a doubt how much of a scumbag he is. Not just with this, but in Winnipeg, too. He proved how much of a scumbag he was out there. He was the biggest cancer that the Jets have ever seen. Now he's in Buffalo, and he's pulling this stuff. But keep in mind, though, and I will say this to be fair, he was cleared originally in March of any criminal charges of this December 27th encounter, initially described as a sexual assault. So he was cleared of sexual assault charges. That doesn't necessarily mean he didn't beat her. Now, if he is found guilty of these charges, I got to ask you, Rob, do you think that he should be just thrown out of the NHL altogether? Do you think that he should be banned from participating, not just for a season, but just in general? He should be kicked off of the Buffalo Sabres and everything.
Nah, I think that's a little hasty. I mean, you got to look at his track record. Has he been convicted for this before? Is he a repeat offender in terms of suspensions in the league? I mean, I'm not making light of this. I mean, assault on a woman, really? What kind of man are you, right? Something like that, I could see like a 4-month suspension, maybe even a year suspension. That would be a nice stiff slap on the wrist. But to ban him forever or the Sabres because look at who the Sabres gave up to get Evander Kane. I mean, a king's ransom. That wouldn't be smart business by the Sabres. I need to know more about what happened. I mean, did he Aroldis Chapman her? You know what I mean? Like something like to that effect.
Well, apparently he lured her into his hotel room, which he was living in, and apparently they were going to have a party, and it was false pretext, as the lawyers of the young lady have described, of a party, and then he engaged in extreme and outrageous conduct, apparently, toward their client. And Kane has pled not guilty, and he's pleaded not guilty to non-criminal harassment, disorderly conduct, and also trespassing, but that's also stemming from another incident at a bar on June 24th. So he's had his run-ins with the law, and apparently, here's another thing he got himself into. Kane was also accused of grabbing 3 women, I would assume inappropriately, inside Bottoms Up, which is a Buffalo nightclub. And a male bar employee said he also had a run-in with the NHL star. Now, Paul Cambria, who is Kane's lawyer, has said that those allegations were extremely exaggerated and denies strenuous wrongdoing, his client does. So, it's not his first, rodeo, shall we say, with some problems with the law.
And that changes things up a little bit now. Now I say, if he's convicted of this, it's definitely a year. I mean, you look at the case history for Slava Voinov, right? I believe he was only suspended for a year, but the Kings went ahead and released him. And did he go to the KHL?
I think he did, to be honest with you. I think he actually did go back to the KHL. I'm not 1,000% sure on that one.
Right. Mostly probably out of shame or what have you. And that was domestic abuse. I mean, we're talking, apples and oranges, or actually oranges and navel oranges here. It's the same thing,
But with that being said, I want to ask you this question before we go to break. Do you think he's guilty? Now, don't give me your answer. We'll go to break. And then you can give it to me then. Then you can let me know, do you think that he is guilty? Let it simmer. Let the process of it. Hell, I'll even let you see the article to read it for yourself. Ingest it and believe maybe he is truly guilty of this. Or maybe we wait till the evidence comes out. Now, I'm of the party that personally says, let's wait till it comes out. There is no guilty crime yet been proven. You are innocent till proven guilty. But with his history of having run-ins with the law, people should start keeping an eye on this guy. And then I'll ask one last important question on the other side. But anyway, that will do it for this segment of Around the League. And that was brought to you by none other than the Sports Outlet. They are for all your sporting needs. You can give them a call at 856-939-2030, or you can visit them at 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net, or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com. Folks, when we come back, it's time to get ready for some top fives, Twitter results, and we'll wrap up this Evander Kane topic all on the other side here on the Hockey Happy Hour. Keep it here.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by the Sports Outlet, located at 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey, with over 40 years of customer experience giving the latest in uniforms and equipment to sports enthusiasts of baseball, softball, football, basketball, hockey, soccer, and much more. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or send them an email at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit their website at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all of your sporting needs.
Hey, do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
Hell yeah! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Hockey Happy Hour. We are live from the BMW of Atlantic City Studios here in Mount Ephraim, New Jersey. And speaking of BMW of Atlantic City, have you ever wanted the ultimate driving experience? Well, guess what? BMW of Atlantic City has challenged the sales team. They must sell 100 vehicles, which means you save. Right now, lease a certified pre-owned Elite 2016 BMW 320i with xDrive, just $299 a month for 36 months. The ultimate driving experience is closer than you think. BMW of Atlantic City, easy to get 2 minutes off of exit 37 of the Parkway. They are online at www.bmwofatlanticcity.com. All right, folks. And with that being said, I think it's time that we wrapped up our Around the League. We wrap up this Evander Kane topic. So, Rob, I asked you before we went to break, do you think he's guilty? And I let you simmer through. I let you mull it over. We've gone through his past problems. He's pled non-guilty to other charges in the past. He's been cleared of sexual assault charges from this incident in particular. Do you think he's guilty?
Yes, I do, and I'll tell you why. Excluding the player himself, right? I think about what a hockey player is, right? And hockey players are passionate. They get easily agitated, and it's a sport that fighting is allowed in based on the nature of the sport, kind of a la football a little bit. Hitting people for a living creates aggression, and it's very hard to separate on the field, or in this case on the ice, to the home life. So that's what makes it seem very plausible. There seems like there's a lot of evidence pointing towards that he did assault this woman. And on top of that, he's had a disrespect for women, in a strip club, but I don't care. Women are women. They're meant to be cherished and respected. I don't care how much of a whore they are. So I always got to make it funny, right? Jesus, I'm trying to make a serious point, and I crack a joke.
Scumbag.
I'm going to put myself in the sin bin for 2 minutes and mute my mic. But before I do that, I will say this: I think he is guilty, and I think the Sabres are going to be handicapped for a little bit.
All right, then. So now the one last question I want to ask, and then we will move on from this subject. Do you think that this is becoming a new reoccurring trend in the NHL in recent years? Because think about it. In recent memory, there have been several cases of spousal abuse. There have been women trying to extort money out of certain players who don't care, and I don't blame them, because why would you?
Right.
If they're legal and of age, they consented, it's no big deal.
Right.
And then we have other problems where people are getting drunk, getting caught with cocaine, that are just having so many other issues. People who need to go to rehab, who have wound up on other teams, who were sent to the minor league of certain organizations because of their problems. Is this becoming a new trend in the NHL? Or have we been blind this whole time that we just haven't looked deep enough yet? Or do you think that this is just new? Players are getting in trouble now more so than they have in the last, 5 years.
It's spilling into the NHL. It really is, man. I mean, the writing's on the wall. I mean, we talked about Slava Voynov. I mean, is it as abundant as football or basketball?
No.
Hell no. Hell no. But the NHL used to be the squeaky clean sport that, hockey players just operated on such modest, non-ego-driven level that you would never see these type of infractions, whether it be, drug use, domestic violence, violence against women, DUIs, things of that nature. But here's the thing. As time passes on, so do generations. And no offense to your generation, Maddie, but you're a bunch of immature assholes. I'm sorry. I mean, present company excluded in that. But they're I don't see the responsibility for your actions as a man in this younger generation.
Well, you know what the sad part is, and this is a whole nother topic that we could talk about any other day of the week, but you know what the sad part is? I have to agree with you. I mean, knowing guys my age, knowing women my age, both sides are just as guilty as the other. Immature, can't take a joke, first off. Mm-hmm. Second of all, can't handle the responsibilities of life. And listen, I'll be the first one to admit, does it intimidate me, the idea of having to try and support myself and having to try and pay my own bills? Yeah, that's a scary prospect for any kid. I'm pretty sure it was scary for you when you had to realize it, Rob.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, no doubt about it.
But you have to man up and woman up, and you have to understand that at the end of the day, at some point, mommy and daddy are going to be gone. Someday, they will be dead. And it's a tough fact to deal with, but it's so true. We are mortal. You got to take advantage of your opportunities when you get them when you're young, and you got to try and make the most of your time when you're young, because you don't get that time back. Don't sit there and crying like a little bitch. Face up and realize life's going to be tough. Deal with it. It's going to kick you in the goddamn throat. And you know what? It's going to keep kicking you in the throat. Fess up and deal with it like a man.
I love it. I love what you're saying, man. That's why I said present company excluded, because, you're in your early 20s, Maddie, but you act like a 60-year-old in terms of maturity, no, let me not put you 60. All right, you act like a 40-year-old in terms of maturity level or whatnot.
Maybe that's why I don't have a girlfriend. But anyway,
that should be a reason why you have a girlfriend. Girls are dumb too.
It's just this generation, I think. I think it's just this generation that's just full of idiots. But anyway.
And there's my point.
Yeah.
And there's my point. And that's why you're seeing younger players come into this league and giving a black eye to the NHL Shield. Let's hope that a young player that we centered the show around, Travis Konecny, is not one of those type of players.
And speaking of which, we did make him the center of our Twitter poll. So I think it's about time that we start going into those results, Rob. What are the Twitter poll results for today?
Certainly, and we asked you at A2DRadio_com, Travis Konecny will be a blank player in the NHL. And just for the trolls, we put A''N in case there was the word started with a vowel, so you can't put us down for poor grammar. Oh, man, I'm so close to cursing right now, but I'm not going to do it. So we gave you options. Great. Travis Konecny will be a great player. Travis Konecny will be a good player. Travis Konecny will be an average player. Or Travis Konecny will be an irrelevant player. With 59% of the vote, I'm not surprised to see this. It goes with great. 35% good, 6% average, 0% irrelevant. Even non-Flyers fans can't designate this man as being irrelevant. But as Mike the commish said, yeah, it'd be great if he was on a different team maybe on his Devils. You're just jealous. But
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
that's
Jelly? You jelly?
Are you jelly? But yeah, that's all let me keep it factual. That's all our Twitter results, and our Twitter was provided to you by the Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Go visit them, 703 Black Horse Pike, Glendora, New Jersey. You can give them a call, 856-939-2030, to check if they have that product that you're looking for in your sporting universe, and see if they have it available, or if you're more visual and online a lot, check them out, sportsoutletinc.com.
All right, so now that we've gotten that out of the way, I think it's time we do a little fun. We have some top fives, and we've decided to go into the Flyers archives. We haven't done it in a little bit, so we might as well do it now. And we're going to give our top 5 greatest Flyers teams that never won the Stanley Cup. There's only one team that has ever crossed the threshold into immortality. That is the Broad Street Bullies of 74 and 75. Since then, some great Flyers teams have come, but no cups have become of it. I know. It's a hard fact to realize, but it's the only thing we can do.
Yeah.
So we're going to give our top 5 teams that never won the Stanley Cup, and I'll start it off. My number 5. In 2008, the back with a vengeance Philadelphia Flyers. And the reason why is this is more of a personal love. I love that team. In 2008, man, when the team just sucked so bad in 2007, they were one of the worst teams in the NHL.
Right.
They come back. They get Danny Briere. Yeah. Mike Richards is the new captain. Jeff Carter's here. Scotty Hartnell's here. Kimmo Timonen came around. Braden Coburn. And we have Mike Knuble still. Simon Gagne. It was just – Marty Biron was our goalie too. That's really strange, isn't it? Marty Biron was our goalie. But
wow, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I actually have a Biron jersey too. And I'm not ashamed to admit that because Biron was good that year, by the way, folks. He was really good in 2008. Sadly, he wasn't good in 2009. But anyway, but still – I love that team. I really how scrappy that team was. You didn't know what they were going to do. They just came at you, and they kept firing the puck down your throat. I love that team. And we had so many good. We had Joffrey Lupul. Scotty Upshaw was on that team. Also, we had Downey was also on the team too still. Then we had so many really fun players on that squad. I just love that team in 08.
It was a good squad, absolutely. I mean, bringing Danny B to Philadelphia that was just a match made in heaven. Obviously, we saw him become Mr. Playoffs before our eyes, and I always sweated Danny B. I know you hate the Sabres. Maybe you hated him when he wore a Sabres sweater.
I did.
I didn't though. I mean, when he was wearing the it was beginning of a new man crush. I was like, wear my original man crush shirt, number 10, the original number 10, Johnny.
How many man crushes
Leclerc.
you have? Jesus.
Well, how should I say? Not enough to be questionable in the loafers, but enough to be an avid sports fan.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. All right, then. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
All right. What do you think is the cutoff point for man crushes? Like what would you say the minimum is before you start becoming a little,
I'd say 7.
7?
Yeah.
All right, you reach that 7 hole, then you're getting a little fruity. Okay,
yeah.
I got you.
You get to number 8, and then I don't
you're
know
a
about
little,
you.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. I got you.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Oh, come on now. I mean, come on, I know you're busting my balls, but come on now. You talk to, our father's generation. You bring up the word Mickey Mantle. Oh, they're gonna cry like a little baby, or Lou Gehrig,
No, I got a man crush. It'd be Shane Gostisbehere's my new man crush because he's awesome, dude. He's whipping ass and taking names out there in the defensive zone. What's not to love? All right.
Hey, I'm mature in my heterosexuality. Thank you very much.
So am I. I'm just wanting to bust your balls. See if I can maybe throw you a little bit uncomfortable curveball there. Every once in a blue moon.
You did make me uncomfortable. Well done.
All right.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Number 4. We got a 2010. Oh, I'm sorry. I skipped you. Go right ahead. Go to number 5. See what happens? I'm throwing everybody off guard. I threw myself off guard there.
Right.
Now I'm getting orders wrong. Go right ahead, man.
My number 5 is in the same area, but I'm going to go with the 2003-2004 team. I mean, this is the last Flyers team that I thought had a legitimate chance to win a Stanley Cup, in my opinion. I mean, even though the 2010 team went on to the finals, that was very flukish.
Yeah.
This team was built well. I mean, I mean, even though the Flyers were the 7th seed in the East, they had home ice advantage in the conference finals because they were playing the 8th seeded Montreal Canadiens. And when they did reach the finals, reading from the wrong notes, my fault. But the 2004 team was a veteran-laden team with the likes of Jeremy Roenick, Tony Amonte, Desjardins, Kapanen, Primu, Leclerc, Tihi, Recchi, and some young players like Simon Gane and Yoni Pikkanen. Remember Yoni? I mean, that was a good squad, man. The Flyers won the division under Coach Ken Hitchcock that year, and they were primed to make a long playoff run. They easily handled the Devils in 5 games in the first round of the playoffs. Round 2, they handled the Maple Leafs in 6 games. The Maple Leafs, they fought a hard series, but in the end, they folded under the OT series winner by Roenick. That I think will just live in infamy.
I love that goal.
What killed me was that, again, losing against the Lightning and that Herbivore Andrew Chuck.
Oh, that was a tough one.
Yeah.
They ate us up in that last game. It was tough. Well, Esch also, give Esch credit. He did the best he could, but he's Esch.
Right.
At some point, it was going to happen. He's going up against Cabby Bullen. What are you going to do? What? And there's a name that I used to love. I used to love Cabby Bullen. I loved his name. He was so cool. But anyway, enough about that. So that's your number 5, the Last Chance Flyers. I love it.
I figured you'd like me going with the Last Chance Flyers. I know you have a soft spot for them.
I do, because Roenick was one of my favorite Flyers, and not only that, I just love that team. So many great veterans were on that team. It was so cool,
It's not so much me as it is Roenick.
Yeah,
I got you.
It's JR. Yeah, it's always JR. All right, moving on. Number 4, 2010. I have to go with this team. Why? Because what team could pull off being the number 7 seed, getting in on the last day of the regular season, beating the New York Rangers, which is just a plus to this team's record, kicking those bastards out of that chance to be playoff, and we go all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals. We beat the New Jersey Devils in 6 and shoved it right up their keisters. That's right, Mike. We beat you guys badly in that series, too, by the way. Danny Carcillo scored an OT on you. How's that feel? Yeah, Berder's the greatest. He still got scored on by Carcillo. Anyway, and then the next round, we came back down from 3-0, and we beat the Boston Bruins, and we kicked Chara and his crew and his lackeys out of it. And then we faced off with the Montreal Canadiens, and we shredded them. We absolutely torched them in that Eastern Conference Finals. And then we go up against the Blackhawks, and, we finally met our match. But still, what other team could have done that? That is just such a special, special team in the Flyers' history in my book.
Oh, absolutely, man. Well said. My number 4 goes back a little bit. It goes back to the 85-86 squad. I mean, certainly they run into a buzzsaw there, but it was another team that failed to advance to the Stanley Cup Finals, but still one of the best teams the Flyers ever put on the ice. If it not been for the tragedy that struck early in the season, it could have been their best team ever. The Flyers were coming into the year when they finished the best record in the NHL, and they advanced all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals. With the youngest team in the league, they eventually, as we know, lost to the powerhouse Edmonton Oilers in 5 games.
Yeah, a lot of people did. No shame in it. A lot of people lost the Oilers back then.
Right. But, I mean, they had something to fight for in the tragedy. I mean, do I need to spell it out?
Yeah,
Pelle Lindbergh. And they were playing for Pelle, man. And it's like you wanted him to win. I mean, at this time, we're talking I'm like 7, 8 years old. I didn't really get it, but – those that brought me into the Flyers family really, told me that.
In a lot of ways, you can view it as a tragedy, but this was more of a national tragedy when 9/11 happened and the New York Yankees were in the World Series. Probably one of the few times most people were rooting for the Yankees to actually win the World Series because of what happened in 9/11. And you were kind of hoping that maybe the Yankees could pull it off and win another World Series and beat the Arizona Diamondbacks. They didn't, but you look back on it and you say to yourself, that's probably the only time you'd actually be able to say, you know what, good for you, Yankees. You guys deserve that for what happened,
Yeah, absolutely.
A big tragedy that happened at that time, But good number 4. I like that number 4. For me, number 3, it's the Last Chance Flyers. I have to throw them in here at some point.
Oh, I knew it.
And the reason why I put number 3 is because, again, this is my personal love for them. I don't know why. It's just that team to me just always, I loved them. No matter how old they got, they still were just so cool. They were like a fine wine. They just got better with age, you know? That was when the Flyers could put 50,000 veterans on a roster and get away with it because there was no salary cap back then. Thank you, NHL.
Right.
But, you know, it's just awesome that we had all those great. Yeah, we had awesome. We had Tony Amonte on that team. We had Shamov on that team. Roenick. We had so many great players, and Desjardins was still on the team. It was so cool. You know, much better than the Peter Forsberg try. You know, when we had Rathje and the rest of them, and just didn't work out at the end of the day. But I love that team. I'd love that Last Chance Flyers team. They're near and dear to my heart forever.
As well as they should be. My number 3?
Yes.
I'm going to go with the 97 team.
Oh, yeah.
And I was tempted to almost put them number 1, but there's a few that go back a little bit that I want to, you're going to come with the newer, I'm going to come with the older a little bit, but I think 97 is probably on both of our lists. I mean, they were a buzzsaw. Legion of Doom, Lindros, Renberg, Leclerc. Let us not forget about Vinny Prospal just coming into the league.
Oh, yeah.
Donna Zubrish just coming into the league.
Yeah.
How about Yanni Ninnema?
Yeah.
Recchi on that team. They brought in Paul Coffey, which we know our feelings about Paul Coffey on this show. But
well, I mean, in all fairness, Coffey was kind of past his good years when he came to Philadelphia.
Right. Rod Brendamore on this team.
Hot Rod. Yeah.
Remember Carl Dykehouse?
Pat
Falloon. Dale Howarchuk.
Brent Fedek,
exactly. Yeah. I mean, the list goes on. Joel Otto.
I
think Joel Otto was one of my favorite, like fourth line centers of all time. Trent Klatt.
Yeah, and you
Sean
said
Podine.
Yeah, you can't forget Sean Podine.
Shel Samuelson. I mean,
This
was one of the Chris Terry, and this was one of the best teams ever assembled to not win a cup.
Yeah, it is crazy. And funny that's your number 3 because that's my number 2, the Legion of Doom era franchise. I mean, that team should have won a Stanley Cup. And I will go into the grave saying this, and I pray I don't go into a grave without seeing a cup. But I will go to the grave saying that the Flyers should have won the Stanley Cup in 1997 because we never had a better team than we did in the 1990s to win a Stanley Cup. It was all right there. The stars were aligned for that team to win it. We smoked the Pittsburgh Penguins. We smoked the Buffalo Sabres. We absolutely torched the New York Rangers with Wayne Gretzky and Mark Messier. If anything, it was almost like handing the torch off to those guys to become the next big thing in the NHL. That should have been the year. That should have been the damn year. Some people say 2010. I disagree. 2004, I disagree. 1997 should have been the year.
I got one better for you for number 2 that should have been the year, 1976. Because the saying was hat trick in 76, coming off of 2 victories in a row in 74 and 75. They were shooting for a third straight. And you could really easily make a case that the 76 team was even better than the 2 cup-winning teams. For example, in 74, the Flyers had 109 points. In 75, they had 113 points. In 76, they trumped both of those years with 118. They only lost 2 games at home that whole year. 2 games at home.
Wow.
Lots of teams getting the Philly flu back then. And also 76 was the year that the Flyers were the only NHL team to beat who? The Soviet Red Army.
And then not only that, the Flyers also made history, and they also had the rifle. Became the first ever non-goaltender on a losing team to become the Conn Smythe winner in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Right.
There are 2 Flyers that have done that in history. I think that says it all right there. That's pretty damn impressive to have 2 players that were as good as the Stanley Cup champions. That's awesome.
That is awesome.
And now my number 1, the 1980s Bullies. Why? What can you say? You had Ron Hextall. Mark Howe. You could even throw Pelle Lindbergh in there. But
what year did you say?
I'm going to say late 1980s, mid to late 1980s when Ron Hextall came in.
Gotcha.
Ron Hextall, Mark Howe, you had Dave Poulin. You had so many great players that the Flyers had at that time who were
Actually, the other Conn Smythe. Right.
Rick Tocchet was on that team at the time. Peter Zezel was around. They had such a phenomenal team at that time. It's such a shame that they ran into the Edmonton Oilers that the year that they went to the Stanley Cup Finals. If they had faced either the Calgary Flames or they had faced the not the Montreal Canadiens. Could they beat the Montreal Canadiens to get into? Well, actually, no. I think I stand correct. They beat the Nordiques actually to do it. I correct myself. They beat the Nordiques to get into that year's Stanley Cup Finals. But doesn't matter if they had faced the Calgary Flames, if they had faced any of the top teams in the West other than the Edmonton Oilers, hands down, the Philadelphia Flyers would have won that Stanley Cup that year. And I don't care. You could say, oh, well, the Flames had Tion Fleury and Mike Vernon in goals. Screw off. I don't care about that. Think about the Flyers team that they had. They were on par with the Edmonton Oilers. And you want to know why? Game 7. No other team took them to a Game 7, but we did. It's a shame we couldn't win it, though.
I'm going to have to say my number one, just to be really quickly before we hit the break, I'm going to go with the year of the streak, 79-80.
That's a good one.
That was a great time. 35 unbeaten streak. It's kind of hard to argue with that. Quick question, Maddie. Do you know which team the Flyers defeated the Flyers 7-1 on January 7th, 1980 to end that streak of 35 games?
The Minnesota North Stars.
You would be correct, sir. You're just a hockey aficionado, aren't you? Screw you, trollers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was just a little test to prove. And I did not tell him that question before the show. That was fresh off the cup, and he got it in like 0.3 seconds. But, yeah, I could go on and on about this team, how they're the best Flyers team in history that to win the Cup. But the 35 games in a row unbeaten, I think, speaks for itself.
And they still have Bobby Clark and Bill Barber on the team, too. So they still have a phenomenal team with Tim Kerr to go along with it.
Correct. Yeah, Timmy Kerr.
Yeah,
Good
Timmy
call.
Kerr was there. All right. So those are our top 5 greatest Flyers teams to never win the Stanley Cup. And you know what? I'm not going to lie. That's a little depressing. But you know what? We're going to hype ourselves back up. We're going to get hyped. And you want to know why we're going to get hyped? Because when we come back, we are going to talk about some WWE wrestling. When we come back, we're going to give another top 5. That's right. We're not giving one top 5. We're giving 2 top 5s. You want to know why? Because we cut deals here at A2DRadio.com. That's why. Speaking of which, if you want a deal, please look into advertising because we do cut nice deals. I swear to you, we do. If you're a small business, please contact us.
It doesn't get any better, man, in terms of bang for the buck.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But on the other side, it's time for the top 5 WWE titles that we want brought back, and we will get into that. But first, let's talk about Gibson Mayer LLC, your certified public accountants located at 301 Oxford Valley Road in Yardley, PA. You can give them a call, 215-369-3300. Tax time will be here before you know it. Go to Gibson Mayer to get it all taken care of. On the other side, WWE time. We got some titles to talk about. What ones do we want brought back? We'll see you guys on the other side after this.
Hey, do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
A2DRadio.com is sponsored by The Sports Outlet, located at 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. With over 40 years of customer experience giving the latest in uniforms and equipment to sports enthusiasts of baseball, softball, football, basketball, hockey, soccer, and much more. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or send them an email at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit their website at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all of your sporting needs.
Hey, do you consider yourself the next Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, or Jordan Spieth? Well, head on out on November 5th at Valley Brook Country Club in Blackwood, New Jersey for A2DRadio.com's first ever Real Talk Invitational. 125 per person to enter, teams up to 4 members, and it includes all you can eat and drink and contests including longest drive, putting competition, closest to the pin, and the hole-in-one contest. Once again, it's November 5th at Valley Brook Country Club in Blackwood, New Jersey. The guys here at A2DRadio.com hope to see you there.
Oh, yeah. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Hockey Happy Hour. We are live from the BMW of Atlantic City Studios here in Mount Ephraim, New Jersey. And with that being said, have you ever wanted the ultimate driving experience? Well, guess what? BMW of Atlantic City challenged the sales team. They must sell 100 vehicles, which means you save. Right now, lease a certified pre-owned elite 2016 a BMW 320i with X-Drive, just $299 a month for 36 months. The ultimate driving experience is closer than you think. BMW of Atlantic City. Easy to get to, minutes off of exit 37 of the Parkway. They are online at www.bmwatlanticcity.com.
See, I know what happened there. You got WWE on the mind, and you're like, WWE.
I almost did it. Almost. You're not going to get me. Not today. Maybe tomorrow, but not today. All right.
No, not today.
With the brand split that has officially been in full swing, we are entering week 3 of the new brand wars. And so far, I'd say the score's even between the two shows. My personal opinion. I think SmackDown won last week. I think Raw won the first week. We'll see who wins week 3. Raw put up a pretty good fight this one. Whew. The mid-card was hilarious this week.
Yeah, right.
But Roman Reigns and the club, listen, if you did not watch Raw last night and you are a wrestling fan, I implore you, if you love Attitude Era comedy, go back to watch Raw last night. It was kind of like that. It was a little funny like that. I think you'd enjoy it.
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, and if you were a Roman Reigns hater, I think you're going to begin to start liking this rivalry with Rusev. I know the crowd did there last night, and he actually, for the first time, had great mic skills. Why, Matt? Because he was being himself, not the character, being himself, having the authenticness come out, and just the funny, like, I'm not having a good time. Come on, this is a toast. This is your wedding, even though you married a mail-order bride. You know, like
I love that.
That was great.
And I felt like you didn't have a best man, and who doesn't have a best man? So I figured I had to step up. I'm like, you know what? This is the Roman Reigns I want. This is the Reigns who's cocky, but he's funny, and he's able to be himself. That's what you want to see in the WWE. That's why Austin and The Rock were so awesome. All right, but with that being said, SmackDown, of course, is still with only 2 championships to its name, and the Cruiserweight division is coming to Monday Night Raw. So, me and Rob decided we're going to scour through the WWE archives. We're going to figure out what championships do we want brought back to WWE. Why? Because, quite frankly, there are some titles I miss. I really miss them, and I'd like to see them again in a WWE ring. And I'll start it off. My number 5 title will be the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, maybe this is maybe not too much, and the only real reason why I don't mind the idea of having a title system where both shows are fighting for the major championship. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But I'll take the World Heavyweight title over the Universal title any day of the week. That's my number 5.
I like it, and I have that a little bit later in there because I love WCW. I'm just gonna say it. I had it as my number 3 belt. I love the NWO. I actually probably watched WCW more than I did WWE for a long period of time, and I loved when they brought when Vince McMahon bought the WCW, bringing that in there, kind of holding on to that, and then they phased it out. I was a little disappointed.
Yeah, it does suck about that. But
Yeah.
you want to know why you're a fan of the NWO? Because it's too sweet.
Sweet, that's right, man.
All right, so now
Big,
to
sexy, and everybody loves the bad guy.
yeah,
Because I'm the bad guy here at ATD Radio.
here you go.
There you go.
Anyway,
So my number 5 would be the Intercontinental. What happened in the Intercontinental?
oh, you mean the old Intercontinental,
Yeah.
the one that had the globe on
Yeah,
it? With the,
yeah,
that
yeah.
was a cool looking belt. I like that belt.
Yeah, absolutely. And what wrestler would that be perfect for? In my opinion, go ahead.
Oh, well, you mean like in general, or who I think will be?
I'm just going to come out and say I think that belt would be perfect for Cesaro. He's so worldly and everything. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. That's
I know where your head's at, but I got a title that's actually a little bit more suited for him, and I'll talk to you about that in a minute. But you know what? Who I'd like to see with Intercontinental title? Apollo Crews. I'd like to see him with that Intercontinental strap over his shoulder. I think he deserves it. I think he's going to win it, too, at SummerSlam. I really think he is.
That'd be bad.
I think he'll beat Miz.
Yeah.
All right, number 4. This isn't a belt, but it is a title. The King of the Ring.
Oh,
I want to see the King of the Ring come back.
I miss the King of the Ring.
I want it to be an actual pay-per-view because I want both shows to compete for the King of the Ring again.
That would be great.
They did it back in 2002. They had a semifinals matchup where they had a SmackDown wrestler face a Raw wrestler, and then they had a Raw versus SmackDown final. I'd love to see that again. That'd be so cool. Why not do that? Why not do that? It just makes sense to me.
Right? No, I feel you on that. I absolutely feel you on that. My number 4?
Yes.
Do you remember when a certain wrestler by the name of Stone Cold Steve Austin had the belt and he made it all skulls?
He made it the Smoking Skull belt.
Yeah, man. I want that belt back bad. I want Stone Cold back, but at least you could do is bring back the belt in some form or fashion.
I got you. I like it. Okay, my number 3. The Hardcore Championship. Who
Nice.
didn't love the Hardcore title? 24/7 rules. Crash Holly, the Houdini of Hardcore. Who didn't love it? It's just chaos every night on Monday Night Raw. Hell, it made Al Snow a household name, for God's sakes.
Al Snow. And that's exactly who I thought of, too, because I, too, had the Hardcore Championship as my number 2.
Nice.
That's how much I loved it, man.
Yeah.
Because, again, I was a big ECW guy
Oh,
as
of
well.
course.
So,
Who wasn't?
not that the Hardcore necessarily, I mean, in theory, yes, but not direct result.
I got you. But, yeah, Hardcore title. I love the Hardcore belt. I'd love to see it back, either on SmackDown, most likely, but I'd love to see it on SmackDown. It'd be so cool.
Absolutely.
All right, so on to you, Rob.
Okay, so yeah, well, I said, for the hardcore, I added. Oh, so you gave your number 3. That was number 3. My number 3 was the WCW World Heavyweight Belt. That's why I was like, oh wait, I think I said it already because it was your number 5. Definitely, man. It's just so. I remember it like around Ric Flair's waist. Like the thing went from like pretty much from his junk to his solar plex.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, do you
Easy
know
for me
that?
to say.
Do you know that the actual WCW Championship was not the same belt that they brought to WWE when they changed it? And the reason being is the top of the belt is actually bent.
Really?
Yeah, the actual real WCW title, the top of the title was bent backwards.
Is Ted Turner that cheap he can't fix the damn belt? Are you serious?
I don't know.
No wonder he sold.
I mean, he was expensive enough to just fund a losing organization by 99 and 2000. But, oh well.
Right.
All right, then my number 2. This is the belt I'd like to see Cesaro have. The European Championship.
Oh, yeah.
It would
forgot
be
about the
perfect. Bring back the European title. Make Cesaro the first European champion.
Yeah.
Bring it back, WWE. Bring it back.
Definitely, dude.
It would be awesome to see Cesaro, the new WWE European champion.
No doubt. That's a good call, man. That's a good call. And again, number 2, we had a repeat. I had the Hardcore Championship as number 2.
All right, then. And my number 1, I want to see it, and they're coming back, but I want the title brought back, the Cruiserweight Championship.
Yes, they are, man.
Because-
Thanks to Daniel Bryan.
Uh-huh. And I want them to have their belt. I want them to have a title. I want them to have their division. Raw, don't screw us on this. Give us a real cruiserweight division to be proud of. Do what SmackDown did back in the day. Bring some cruiserweight action to us because we deserve it. We deserve it. You took AJ Lee from us. God damn it, you took CM Punk from us. Give us something back.
Yeah.
We've earned it.
Agreed.
We have earned it.
Great call, brother. Absolutely great call. Cruiserweight, no doubt about it. So we're on to number one.
Yeah, for me, that was my
Wow.
number one. You
ready to laugh your ass off?
sure, go right ahead. Is it the $1 Million Championship?
You son of a... Way to steal my thunder like I steal Daly's.
Oh, Jesus, I'm sorry.
That's all right, dude. No, that's awesome. That's awesome. I was going to go like that. The with the dollar signs wrapper, in case, you're a newer wrestling fan, you don't remember Ted DiBiase, but all the dollar signs going around, you'd always bring the briefcase of money, right? How can you reinstitute it? Who is the CEO of SmackDown currently?
Oh, that would be Shane McMahon.
Here comes the money.
Yeah.
And then, you know what? Forget about this stupid WWE Universal Championship. Have have their legitimate championship. Have it change hands to somebody that's on Raw, and then have SmackDown have the $1 million belt for Shane O'Mac. Here comes the money.
And you know what? Then you could also you can unify it with another title, the FTW title from ECW. I can't say what that stands for, but you know what? Taz brought that beautiful piece of gold to the ECW. Bring it into WWE and have both those belts be battled for by both shows.
The last thing I'll quickly say, this is off topic, but about wrestling, I cannot wait for SummerSlam August 21st to see Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins. That's going to be the match of the year.
Oh, yeah.
I think, what do you call it, Brock Lesnar versus Randy Orton is hyped up to be good, but I think that one will disappoint. I'm complete.
Yeah, absolutely. I got you. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Can't wait till SummerSlam, and that is coming up soon. But that will do it for this edition of the Hockey Happy Hour. We hope everyone had a good time and had a lot of fun. We did, and I hope you guys will come back next week, next Tuesday, because we've got so much more still to come. Guess what? The World Cup of Ice Hockey is almost here, folks. It's almost here. Don't worry. We're salivating too. But before we go, I want to talk to you about the Real Talk Invitational. It'll be happening November 5th at the Valley Brook Country Club, and it'll be a tournament hosted by A2DRadio.com. The whole crew of A2DRadio.com will be golfing, and it will be $25 per person. And remember, it's all that you could eat and drink. It's located at 200 Gulf View Drive in Blackwood, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-227-3171 if you want to know some more information, or you can go and order the tickets at our Facebook at A2DRadio.com on our events page for the Real Talk Invitational. That will do it, ladies and gentlemen, for this edition of the Hockey Happy Hour. I'm Matt Sassoon. That's Rob Povia. Last call, folks. We'll see you guys next week.